Hi, this is Kivy Livermiller with NonprofitMarketingGuide.com, and we're talking about editorial calendars. There are a couple of things that you need a good editorial calendar to do for you. First of all, you want to make sure that it includes your main communications channels. You want to make sure that you have the content that goes out in those channels, your topics and messages included. And you also want a sense of the timing when the content is going to be published. That's what you really need at a minimum for your editorial calendar. But to really make it a very functional tool that really helps you make good decisions about your content and really keep everything moving along, you need a little bit more. So it's also nice if your calendar can show you the stage or status of the content leading up to its publication, who is responsible for all of those different pieces, and additional conversations about the content. It's great to have those in the calendar instead of lost in email or chat. So when you add on these nice to shows, it gets a little tough to stay with a really basic calendar in Excel or Google Calendars. You really want to think about upgrading to more of a project management tool. So today we're going to look at one project management tool that a lot of nonprofits use and that I like a lot, and that's Asana. With a project management tool like Asana, you have lots of different options for how you can set things up. So I'm just going to give you a few examples of different ways you could do this. And I hope if you would do it differently in Asana that you'll share some of your experiences and ideas with us in the comments. So as you can see on the left over here, I have a list of projects, and I've included a project for each communications channel. Within each communications channel, you have tasks. So you can see I've clicked on the email newsletter editorial, and let's say you had 3 standing heads for your newsletter. Your first article was always hot news, your second article was a profile, and your third article was a how-to. You could set these up and just fill in these blanks as you got the ideas for them and chart it out that way with the deadlines. Let's look at email appeals. So let's say you've got an email appeal going out on February 10th. Well, in Asana, you can have subtasks. So that's what you see over here on the right. Getting that email appeal out requires lots of little steps. And each of these little steps can be assigned a due date and someone who's responsible for them. And they can each have their own notes and comments and conversations attached to them. So you don't have to do lots of back and forth in email that you might overlook or in chat. You can include all of it right along with the appropriate task. You can also do things like repeating tasks. So under the Facebook editorial calendar, what I've done here is set each of these tasks to repeat once a task is checked off. So you'll notice that it says February 8th up here. If I show all tasks, you can see that I've actually checked off the task for February 1st. And when I did that, because I have this set to repeat weekly on Mondays, once I check that one off, it's going to put in the next date that will be available. So again, these project management tools help you automate a lot of this work, especially when you have something really repetitive like an editorial calendar. What about looking at the status or stage of the content? Well, there are a couple of different ways you can do this as well. So let's just say you have a blog and you get lots of different ideas coming in. Well, you can use these section headers within your project and then move the tasks through these different headers. So let's say you have this profile on Jack, it's an idea and you're ready to actually assign it to someone. You could just bump that up the list and add it to assigned. Again, you could add who this was going to be assigned to and the project date, as well as additional descriptions, comments, etc. A different way to keep track of content status would be by using tags. So in this case, we have the same set of assignments or ideas, but we've used the color-coded tags instead of the subtasks. All of this can be viewed in list format, or you can switch over and look at a calendar format. Now, the calendar format really only works if you have a due date assigned to a task. So you'll want to make sure that you come up with some system for when things get due dates and when they don't, so that your calendar isn't full of things that are just good ideas that may never actually happen. These are just a few of the ways that you can use Asana. It certainly has lots of other tools. You're able to use some templates and copy and paste and repeat. You can attach files. There are lots of different ways to use the tool. Please share your ideas for how you use Asana in the comments. And on our next video, we'll take a look at Trello. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.